Don't you find remote work? That's the subject of this video. I'm Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter. I'm a career and leadership coach, and I used to work in recruiting and filled many full-time positions and consulting assignments around the world. And in the work that I've done, I've created a huge repository of information in my blog, which is at thebiggamehunter.us. You can go to the blog. There's a lot there to help you. In addition, you can find out about my courses at the website, thebiggamehunter.us, the books and guides I've written. You can schedule time for a free discovery call or schedule time for coaching so I can help you. I'll also mention you can connect with me on LinkedIn at linkedin.com/IN/the-big-game-hunter. For most of you, my network is going to be a lot larger than yours, and this will become a way that you can expand yours pretty dramatically. So I'll start off by saying, when you think of remote work, well, most of you go to fairly traditional job boards. But I want you to back up for a second, and I want you to watch two videos that I'll have a link to in the show notes. The first one is called Finding Remote Work Jobs, and the second one is Finding Remote Work Being a Digital Nomad, where I've interviewed two experts, and there's just a lot of great material there. So I think it's a good launch point, and I'll have links in the show notes to both of those videos. Now, there are also places where remote jobs are posted online. And I want to remind you, as you start doing your exploration, you don't have to look in any one specific region or area. Like most of you, particularly in the U.S., have the habit of looking into your local geographic area and trying to find remote jobs. But the idea is you can be anywhere in the world and do work. So why just fixate on, let's say, something in Northern California or South Florida? You can be anywhere. You could be working for firms overseas and be paid handsomely for your work. So again, reminder, don't just look in your own geographic area or region, look elsewhere. And job sites that you can go to include LinkedIn, where in the geographic drop-down area, you can specify remote work. There's a site called Jobspresso, like Jobspresso, JOBSPRESSO, remoteok.io, FlexJobs, a site I've worked with for years and support, WeWorkRemotely.com, Remotive, like REMOTIVE.io, SkipTheDrive.com, Virtual Vocations, I'm going to repeat that, virtualvocations.com, and remote.co. These are all websites that carry a heavy dose of remote work associated with them. You can also look for communities online that you can connect with that will provide access to remote work. For example, there are Facebook groups, Slack channels like Work From Home, Remotely One, and Remote Work. There's a site like Indie Hackers where there's so much that they have from a technology standpoint, but in the current iteration of the site, on the right-hand column, there's an area that has remote jobs. LinkedIn, I believe I mentioned, has a drop-down. Yeah, I mentioned that already. There are Reddit channels, Work Online, Digital Nomad, and Work From Home that can help you. And there are many others too. AngelList.co is a site for startups, and there are firms that will look for remote employees from there. Xing, spelled Xing, for those of you who are looking for work that might be hubbed out of Germany, Switzerland, or Austria. There's Dribbble, Dribble, for creatives. And of course, there are services like Fiverr, Fiverr, Upwork, and Freelancer, where your work is remote. You're not an employee. You're basically doing gig work. So these are all options for you. In addition, you can connect with specialized recruiters who work specifically with individuals looking for remote work. I'm not going to recommend any for fear that one of you doesn't have a good experience and you start putting notes about the bad experience you have. It's not about them, often it's their clients. So look for specialized recruiters online. Go to your network and get referred. And remember, the real thing that you're looking for in addition to remote work is to understand what their expectations of you are going to be, what time zones they want someone to operate in. Do they want someone who's going to work outside of a 9-to-5 schedule for where you live? And is that okay with you? There are hashtags that work on Twitter, Instagram, and Pinterest. Pinterest, of all places. Hashtag remote, hashtag remote work. So there are things that, there are places that you can search on those three platforms where you'll come up with remote jobs. Again, the hashtags are remote and remote work. You can spot something, and this works very well in the full-time market, and I'm sure it will work very well in this kind of work. You spot a business and you spot a gap in what they're doing. A classic example is for someone who specializes in SEO work, you spot that the fact that organic traffic is not going to a firm's site. So you sell yourself into the organization by spotting a gap in the business. Now, from their standpoint, they're going to want to see that you're someone that they can trust. And one of the ways you have to anticipate they're going to do it beyond the interview, beyond the conversation that you have with them, is to look at your social media presence. So make sure it's up to standard for the work that you're going to be trying to do for organizations, so that in this way, they're getting a confirmation about you and your capabilities to serve them. Again, remember, there are a lot of people who've gone before you who aren't as trustworthy as you may be. They don't know that. They've just heard stories. So you always want to make sure you can preclude those stories from affecting you. I hope you found this helpful. I'm, again, Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter. I started to be called the Big Game Hunter when I did search. I used to hunt down leaders and staff from many organizations and did it for a long time. Again, my website, thebiggamehunter.us, has so much there in the blog. Plus, you can find out about my courses, my books, schedule time for a free discovery call, or schedule time for coaching so I can help you directly. And lastly, connect with me on LinkedIn at linkedin.com/IN/the-big-game-hunter. I hope you have a terrific day, and most importantly, be great! Take care.